What's going on, guys, and welcome to the channel all about Mirandus. So before I get too far into the video, I just wanted to say this one's going to be a little bit different because typically in my videos I talk about Mirandus as if the viewer actually understands what Mirandus is. But in today's video, we're going to be talking about it as if this is your first time hearing about it, you know nothing about it, and like why you should be excited about it. But before we get too far into the video, I first wanted to introduce myself if you haven't met me yet. So my name is Jake and I make content all about Mirandus. So, if you like the way the game sounds and you like the video, then hit that subscribe button. I'd love to see you around again. If not, then I guess peace and I'll see you next time. But without further ado, let's talk about Mirandus. So Mirandus is a medieval fantasy MMORPG that is blockchain enhanced. Essentially what that means is the in-game currency is going to be a cryptocurrency, as well as some of the items in the game are going to be able to be sold for crypto as well, because they're going to be something called NFTs. And if you don't know what an NFT is, think of it as just like any kind of item, whether it's a skin, a weapon, a character, anything like that on the crypto internet. And these items can actually be sold for crypto. Therefore, you make some money. So this marks the end of playing MMOs for hours and hours on end for nothing to show but some experience points. But who cares if the game can make you money if it's not fun? Like, the reason people play video games is because they want to have fun. A lot of times people want to just escape reality for a little while. That's why I'm so excited about Mirandus, is it's literally going to be a whole alternate life in a medieval fantasy world. So if you can imagine yourself being your favorite character in an anime or in a fantasy novel or something like that, that's essentially what Mirandus is going to be. A very non-linear story in the sense that you make the story. You're living your own life in this medieval fantasy world. You're walking around through a player-owned town to player-owned businesses to buy player-made items. You're going to use those player-made items to help you explore the vast yet very, very dangerous land of Mirandus, which, by the way, does not have a centralized end-game map, which means you can't just click a button and pull up a map and pinpoint exactly where you are in the world. No, it's not going to work like that. So if you're lost in Mirandus, you're out of luck. And the only way back to somewhere that you know or some sort of civilization is by dying. But the issue is dying in the game is very heavily penalized. Either you have to pay magic or materium, which is actually the in-game currency, and we'll talk about that here in a second, or you respawn in a cemetery and lose a bunch of experience points and mastery points. So that kind of sucks. You don't want to be lost. And although exploration sounds scary, it's going to be very, very rewarding for some people. There's going to be chests worth thousands and thousands of real life dollars out in the wilderness in certain places. So there's going to be bosses that are going to drop some items that are worth millions of dollars. So yeah, death is scary, but exploration is worth it. So just a second ago, I mentioned something called materium, and materium is going to be magic in the game. And magic is going to be very, very, very powerful in the sense that it's going to be used to do almost anything inside the game. You can do things like speed up crafting time, teleport goods, you could revive from the dead, you can replace rare crafting materials. There's so many different uses for materium. That's why it's going to be a very sought after item, which in my opinion is very, very good for the game of Mirandus, because a lot of times crypto games fail because there's not enough utility for the coin. But since materium is going to be used in literally every single occupation and every single person will benefit from it, I think it has the best shot out of any crypto game to survive, solely based on the use case for materium. So now that we've kind of covered what materium is, let's talk about how to get materium, because that's important. Not only are you going to be able to find them in chests, but anytime you kill a monster, it's also going to drop materium. And I think that that's so cool, because if you go out hunting for 30 minutes and you go kill some monsters, you're going to come back with materium. You're going to have made some money, which I think is a really, really cool concept. Another way to get materium is to run a shop. And running a shop, I think, is such a cool concept. So none of the shops in the game that you go to are going to be run by NPCs, or it's not going to be a shop that's just built into the game where you go and burn money at. Instead, all of the shops are going to be player owned and player stocked. All those items in the shops are going to be items that either that player crafted or he bought off somebody else to put on display inside of the shop. I think that's so cool. Also, all of the land in the game is also going to be player owned. So the shop owners have to rent from the owner of the land deed. So that means that the kingdoms across the game, or the citadels, are going to be player owned, which I think is also so cool. Like, I've played so many other MMOs, and to think that this kingdom that I'm walking through right now, a player actually owns that, and he decides what happens to that kingdom. He runs promotional deals for the kingdom. He charges taxes for the kingdom. And his citadels will have its own established Knights of the Round Table, or paladins that have pledged their alliance to his kingdom and to fight for him. That's what I love about Mirandus, is you can try and be one of the paladins of the Round Table, or the king's right-hand man. Or you can even try to go out and adventure by yourself and make a name for yourself and go down in history as the only person to single-handedly beat the evil bearded witch queen. I don't know. But yeah, that's the fun part of the game, is you really get the freedom to do whatever you want. And part of that freedom is finding what occupation you want to go into, or what type of game style or play style you want to have. Do you want to be an explorer? Do you want to be someone who owns a shop? Do you want to own land? Do you want to do all the above? Which one do you want to put the most time into? And what's going to make you the most money doing so? One of the ways to really speed up this process is, regardless of which aspect you choose to go into, there's going to be characters called exemplars with special abilities that'll enhance the occupation you choose. Exemplars can be bought through Gala's website or OpenSea. I always buy mine from OpenSea because the prices seem to be a little bit cheaper, plus a lot of exemplars are sold out from Gala's website, and there will only ever be 50,000 exemplars. The rarest being the elf, followed by the halfling, then the orc and the dwarf, then lastly the human. And each of these different races have different subcategories within them. For example, there are 5 different types of elves, and each of those 5 different types of elves have different abilities, and same goes for orc, dwarf, halfling, and human. These abilities can help you do things from battling to crafting to even finding different items when you're out exploring. So based on how you want to play the game is how you should choose your exemplar for the game. I made a video last week talking about which exemplars I would put together on a team to take out onto an exploration mission, but I haven't yet made a video on which exemplar would be best for you to choose based on your playstyle. It's a good idea, I'll do that. But I'll link the video down below which exemplars will be best for an exploration trip, and if that's something you want to check out, then sweet. But if you want to wait till next week, I will definitely have an exemplar guide based on your playstyle for you guys to watch. So one last thing before we end the video, we need to talk about when is Mirandus actually coming out, because the game's not out yet, and they're really shooting for a permanently playable version in December of 2022 or January 2023 or early 2023. And that's not going to be a full release either. The reason I didn't say full release and I said permanently playable version is because the full release is something that's probably not going to be out for another couple years. And that's because it's an MMO, and MMOs are big games. Not only that, but it's a blockchain MMO. And anything with blockchain in the name needs to make sure that all the security measures are in place and that there's not going to be any sort of cheating mechanics. Everything just needs to be streamlined. So with that being said, there is a lot of work that goes into that and making sure that everything is perfect. But this permanently playable version that comes in hopefully at the end of this year will be something that I'm hoping, I don't know this for sure, that we'll be able to at least earn a little bit of materia going out and exploring and still having fun playing the game. But that pretty well sums up what exactly Mirandus is, how to earn a Mirandus, and what to expect from Mirandus. Hopefully I did a decent job of explaining everything. If you have any questions, drop them down in the comments below and I will get back to them. I read every single comment and I respond to every single comment. If you're new here, I really appreciate you coming by and watching the video, and if you had fun, then hit that subscribe button. Again, I'd love to see you around. If you're a repeat offender and you've been here before, then sweet. Thanks again. I appreciate you guys. But that's all I have for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate you, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace, guys.